away from that man. I'm a paramedic. This man is having a cardiac event. I need you to step back. Step back now.
You're interfering with my investigation. Show me your ID.
I can't stop. He could die.
Hey, let her work, man.
Back off.
A Florida paramedic responded to a routine medical emergency and ended the day in handcuffs, 7 hours in a holding cell. A $15.6 million federal lawsuit that would expose everything broken about how some officers treat people who refuse to be intimidated. This wasn't a traffic stop gone wrong. This was a woman doing her job and getting arrested for it. Officer Travis Kendrick thought he understood authority. 8 years with the Jacksonville Police Department. 32 complaints filed against him, not a single one resulting in discipline. He'd learned a dangerous lesson, that a badge demanded obedience, that questioning him was grounds for arrest, that some people didn't get to assert their rights. For nearly a decade it worked until a Tuesday morning when he tried it on. Someone who knew exactly what the Constitution said about unlawful detention. The call came in at 6:47 a.m. Medical emergency at a construction site off Interstate 95. Possible cardiac event. Male, 50 seconds, unconscious. Jacksonville Fire Rescue Unit 17 was dispatched. Driver, Raul Santos. Lead paramedic, Keisha Robinson. Keisha had spent 11 years as a paramedic. Before that, 6 years as a U.S. Army combat medic, deployed twice to Afghanistan. She'd kept soldiers alive under fire, performed emergency procedures in conditions most people couldn't survive. Bronze Star, 3 commendations for valor. 34 years old, born and raised in Tallahassee. Exceptionally good at her job. The ambulance arrived at 6:52 a.m., a 5-minute response time. Keisha grabbed her medical kit and ran toward a cluster of workers surrounding a man on the ground. Rowan followed with the stretcher. The patient was unconscious, pale, sweating. Classic signs of cardiac distress. Keisha dropped to her knees, checked for a pulse. Pulse is weak and thready, she called out. Breathing is shallow. Get oxygen ready. Her movements were fast, precise, professional. Oxygen mask on. 4 started. Vitals recorded. She was preparing medication when she heard heavy boots crunch behind her. Step away from that man. Male voice, authoritative, demanding. She didn't look up. I'm a paramedic, Keisha said. This man is having a cardiac event. I need you to step back. Step away now. She looked up for the first time. Police officer. White male. Late 30s. Hand resting near his weapon. Badge number 7329. Name tag Kendrick. Aggressive posture. A tone that expected obedience. Officer, I'm treating a critical patient, Keisha said calmly. I can't step away. This man could die. You're interfering with my investigation, Kendrick snapped. Move away or you'll be arrested. Investigation into what? She asked. There's no crime here. This man needs a hospital now. That's for me to determine, not you. Something felt wrong. Keisha made a split-second decision. Continue treating the patient and de-escalate the officer. Rowan, get the stretcher ready, she called. We need to transport immediately. Kendrick stepped closer. His shadow fell across Keisha and the patient. I need your identification and proof you're authorized to be here. My ID is in the ambulance, she said. My certification is displayed inside the vehicle. Dispatch can verify it. She didn't slow down. The construction foreman stepped in. Officer, she's the paramedic we called. This is Carlos. He collapsed 10 minutes ago. Kendrick ignored him. Step away and produce ID now. Florida law requires me to provide care, Keisha said firmly. I'm not abandoning a man having a heart attack to fetch ID 30 feet away. You're refusing a lawful order. That's obstruction. No, she replied. I'm treating a dying man. Phones came out. Workers began recording. The patient's breathing worsened. We're out of time, Keisha said. Rowan, let's move. As they lifted the patient, Kendrick grabbed her arm. Don't move. You're under arrest. The words didn't register. Officer, if you don't let go, this man will die. You should have cooperated. Kendrick said, this is your fault. Keisha pulled free and turned back to her patient. I'm not under arrest, she said. You have no authority to interfere with emergency medical treatment. Kendrick's face flushed red. He lunged again, and this time Rowan stepped between them. Please, Rowan said. He's dying. Move. Rowan didn't. 5 seconds of silence, then Kendrick made his choice. He yanked Keisha backward. Her medical kit hit the gravel equipment, scattering. Under arrest for obstruction and resisting. The cuffs snapped shut. My patient, Keisha said, her voice breaking. Someone help my patient. Rowan dropped beside the man and took over. Chaos erupted. Kendrick shoved Keisha into his patrol car. She watched Rowan working desperately. Workers shouting, phones recording everything. The door slammed. Another ambulance arrived 4 minutes later. Keisha watched through the window as the patient was loaded and driven away, treated by another crew while she sat in cuffs. "You understand he could die," she said quietly from the back seat. "You should have complied," Kendrick replied. She leaned back. He had no idea what he'd just done. Witnesses, video, the law, and a lawsuit would make this moment impossible to ignore. A younger officer, James Wright, handled the booking paperwork. As he logged her information, his eyes kept drifting back to her credentials. State-certified paramedic. Advanced life support. 15 years of service. Clean record. No arrests, no warrants. Nothing, absolutely nothing that justified what was happening. "Ma'am," Wright said quietly, almost apologetic. "Do you need medical attention? Any injury from the handcuffs?" "No," Keisha replied evenly. "But my patient might need a lawyer. Officer Kendrick prevented me from completing emergency medical treatment." Wright's pen stopped mid-sentence. He glanced at Kendrick, arms crossed, leaning against the wall, then looked back down and continued writing. But his expression had changed. Lieutenant Grace Martinez returned, a file folder in her hand. "Kendrick, I need to talk to you. Now." It wasn't a request. They stepped away, but their voices carried. Keisha couldn't hear the words. She didn't need to. Sharp gestures, pointed questions, Kendrick defensive. This wasn't going the way he'd expected. Keisha was placed in a holding cell. The door clanged shut. Cold concrete. A metal bench. Nothing to do but sit and think. Through the small window, she saw officers moving through the station. Some glanced her way. Word was spreading. 20 minutes later, her phone began ringing, locked in an evidence locker down the hall. Faint. Persistent. Someone was trying to reach her. Her supervisor. Rayon. The truth moving faster than Kendrick's report. Then a woman appeared outside the cell, mid-40s. Business suit. Briefcase in hand. The calm confidence of someone who handled crisis for a living. "Miss Ramirez," she said, "I'm Diana Foster. Your partner called your union. They called me. I'm here to get you out and make sure this doesn't go any further than it already has." Keisha stood. "Thank you." Foster opened a legal pad. "Tell me exactly what happened. From the beginning. Don't leave anything out." Keisha told her everything. The call. The patient. Kendrick's arrival. The demand for ID. Her refusal to abandon a dying man. The escalation. The arrest. Foster built the timeline carefully. "Did he read you your rights?" "No." "Did he explain what crime he suspected?" "No." "Did you physically resist?" "Never." "I told him I'd provide identification once my patient was stable." Foster closed her notebook. "This is straightforward," she said. "You were performing your legal duty. He interfered with emergency medical care. That's a violation of state law. The arrest is unlawful. We'll have you out within the hour. Charges dropped by tomorrow." Keisha hesitated. "What about my patient?" Foster paused. "That's the dangerous part. If something happens to him. Because of the delay, the city knows Kendrick's in serious trouble. I need to know if he's okay. I'll make calls." True to her word, Keisha was released 47 minutes later. The charges obstruction and resisting still existed on paper, but Foster was confident they won't survive review. Outside, afternoon sunlight hit her face. Across the street, her ambulance. Rayon leaned against it, waiting. "You okay?" "Been better." "What about our patient?" Rayon swallowed. "Touch and go. They got him to surgery. Ruptured spleen. Internal bleeding. The delay getting him loaded probably cost him." The words landed hard. "Another 5 minutes," the surgeon said, "and we would have lost him on the table." Keisha felt it then, not guilt but weight. The reality that Kendrick's need for control had almost killed someone. Foster returned, phone still in hand. "The DA's office isn't pursuing charges," she said. "This is over." "What about the officer?" Foster's expression hardened. "Internal Affairs is investigating. But that's separate. We're filing a federal civil rights lawsuit by the end of the week." "This wasn't bad policing," she said. "This was interference with emergency medical services. That's a felony." 3 days later, the lawsuit was filed. Keisha Ramirez versus Officer Travis Kendrick in the city. Civil rights violations. False arrest. Interference with medical care. The evidence was airtight. Dispatch timestamps, medical records, witness statements, video from half a dozen phones. The city's attorney called within 24 hours. Settlement talks. "They're scared," Foster told Keisha. "They want this gone." Quietly. 20,000, she added. "Nuisance value." "No," Keisha said instantly. Foster smiled. "That's what I told them." Discovery took 4 months. The body cam footage destroyed Kendrick's case. his fixation on credentials, his disregard for the patient. Keisha's calm professionalism as he escalated. Dispatch recordings confirmed it. 7 minutes of detention while a man bled internally. Hospital records sealed it. Delay in transport contributed directly to deterioration. Another 5 to 10 minutes would likely have resulted in death. Kendrick's deposition lasted 6 hours. Did you assess the patient? I was verifying identities. Did you have medical training? Silence. The city called again the next day. 200,000. No, Keisha said. Mediation followed. A retired federal judge watched the footage. You're going to lose, he told the city flatly. Badly. Final settlement, $675,000. More importantly, policy changes, mandatory training, clear rules, medical treatment takes priority. Kendrick was terminated 2 weeks later. His letter was public. A warning. Keisha used part of the settlement to create a legal defense fund for first responders. The body cam footage became required viewing in police academies nationwide, and months later, she stood on a stage in Denver, 3,000 paramedics silent as she spoke. She didn't start with her arrest. She started with the patient, a man who lived, a man who walked his daughter down the aisle, a man who sent her a Christmas card every year. Thank you for fighting for me when I couldn't fight for myself. The reforms didn't stop at policy memos. Clear guidelines were written for emergency scenes, when paramedics had the authority to refuse police requests, explicit language stating that patient care supersedes administrative demands, and direct legal support contacts if retaliation occurred. The section was named after Keisha, despite her asking them not to. The Phoenix Police Department went further. Officers responding to medical calls received mandatory training on non-interference. Supervisors were required on scene whenever conflict arose between police and medical personnel. Any arrest of a paramedic or EMT triggered automatic investigation, no exceptions. But the most significant change happened at the state level. Arizona passed legislation explicitly protecting first responders while performing emergency medical care. The law made one thing unmistakably clear: paramedics have authority over their patients. Medical decisions take precedence during active treatment. Retaliation against first responders for prioritizing patient care is illegal. The bill passed unanimously. Every representative, both parties, the governor signed it at the state capitol, with Keisha standing beside him. Officially, it was called the First Responder Protection Act. Unofficially, everyone knew it as Keisha's Law. Other states followed: Colorado, Oregon, Washington, New Mexico. Each cited the Phoenix case, each referenced the same body camera footage, the moment when authority collided with medical necessity. The patient from that night testified at several of those hearings. An ordinary man who'd had a heart attack at the wrong time. He told lawmakers what it felt like to be dying while two people argued over paperwork above his head. He described hearing the paramedic's voice, cutting through the fog, telling him to stay with her, promising she wouldn't let him go. Then he asked a single question: do you want first responders worrying about saving lives or worrying about getting arrested? No one argued after that. Keisha returned to work 3 months later. Same ambulance, same partner, same 24-hour shifts across Phoenix. But something had changed. Other paramedics didn't look at her with sympathy. They looked at her with recognition. She still felt tension when police arrived on scene, still felt her pulse spike when an officer approached her rig, still second-guessed herself sometimes. But she also knew something else now. Somewhere out there, another paramedic was standing firmer because she had. The footage never disappeared. Anyone could watch it, draw their own conclusions. The arguments never changed. But the evidence never did either. Years later, students across disciplines studied those 9 minutes. Nursing schools, law schools, police academies, emergency medicine residencies. One incident, teaching different lessons to different professions about authority, responsibility, and consequence. Keisha never wanted attention. She just wanted to save lives and go home after her shift. But sometimes doing the right thing makes you an example. Sometimes one refusal changes the rules for everyone else. That's what happened in a Phoenix parking lot. One paramedic, one patient, one choice. An illegal precedent that protected thousands who would face similar moments. The money helped. The policies mattered. But the real impact was simpler. Keisha proved you could challenge authority and survive, that doing your job correctly was worth defending, that sometimes the most important thing a first responder can do is refuse to stop responding. The case established what should have been obvious all along: saving lives comes first. Everything else, paperwork, procedures, power, comes after. That's the legacy. Not what it cost one person, but what it prevented for countless others. Some battles only need to be fought once. This was one of them.